What's up, YouTube? This is Andrew Scott. Guess what? I'm officially sworn in. That's right. Went to MEPS yesterday. Today we're going to talk about that, my experience, and probably tips and tricks to help you pass too. So I had to take my Asvab before I actually swore in. So the day before, which was Thursday, my parents dropped me off at MEPS about 12:30. And I went and took my Asvab. The Asvab took about 2.5 hours, I'd say. It was long, but I ended up doing pretty good. I got a 74, and so I was happy I qualified for like 200 jobs. So, and all of the ones I wanted were on there. Anyway, I went and I took my Asvab. I had to take a personality quiz or something, which it was kind of dumb, and then I had to take a computer software knowledge test or something, but those really aren't that important. So after I took my Asvab, I went out to the lobby and I waited for about an hour and a half for the shuttle to come pick me up to go to the hotel. At the hotel, I went and I checked into my room. I had a roommate. He was cool, so it didn't really bother me. If you want a quick look at where I was staying, you can go to my previous video. It's just a quick 20-second video of where I was at, but it was fun. I ended up going to this thing, they call it the Freedom Club Lounge or something, and it had a bunch of TVs, pool tables, Xboxes, PS4s. So I was happy about that. I went and played pool for a while and did some fun stuff. At 8:30, we had a brief over what's going to happen tomorrow, which was our physical / swear-in. After that, it was only about 15 minutes. After that, I went up to my room, took a shower, went to bed. Well, tried to go to bed. I didn't really get much sleep because I had a lot on my head, but it was fun. I woke up the next morning about 4 o'clock, and I got dressed, got everything packed up, ready to go, and me and my roommate, we went downstairs and checked out together. After we checked out, they provided breakfast for us, which was pretty good. And so they also provide dinner the night before, and it was good dinner, at least at the Hilton was. And so then we all take the shuttle down to MEPS. We get to MEPS and there's about 60 of us. We all are lined up in this little hallway. We all have to go through a big scanner, make sure we're not carrying any firearms or knives or anything. After that, we go and we check in. After we check in, they march us up to the medical room, which is above at least at Phoenix MEPS there, the medical room is above the room where you do all your swear-ins and stuff. And so we go up there, we're waiting. If you are going to MEPS pretty soon, just expect that you'll be waiting forever for everything. About 85% of everything I did yesterday at MEPS was waiting. So we went, and the first thing that we did was our urinalysis, which is your pee test. For us guys, they lined us all up on the urinals, and a guy stood on the very far left, and he just watched all of us pee in our cups, making sure we weren't doing anything we weren't supposed to do. And we peed in our cups, put our little caps on our cups, and then went and handed them to the doctor. And then he tested for whatever they test. Immediately after that, we went and got in line to get our blood drawn. And I had never got my blood drawn before that I can remember, so I was very scared, I guess. Not scared, but nervous. I mean, I've never had blood drawn. And so I went, and it was so fast, so quick. It was pretty much painless too. And I just went and got my blood drawn really quick. They do it in a separate little room. After that, some people after they get their blood test, they get all lightheaded and pass out, whatever. So those people will stay in the where you did your blood at. Everybody else, that we go to a big room, and it's pretty much the briefing room. And when we're there, we get a hour-long brief on what to expect. They tell us all about fraudulent enlistment, which is pretty much lying on any forms that you've done at MEPS. You have to fill out more paperwork. Oh my goodness, I have never filled out more paperwork in my life at MEPS. Anyway, we fill out paperwork. We sit there for about an hour, watch TV after the medical brief is done. We're waiting for everybody to catch up to us. And then after that, we went and waited out in the waiting room, and individually they'd call us up for our physical/interview. This was definitely probably one of my least favorite things that happened to me, is because you just got to be ready to, show them everything you got. So after the physical, they'll give you a little interview, ask you if you've ever done drugs, ask you if you've ever done all this stuff. It's not like they try to interrogate you, but I would suggest not lying. The guy right next to me, he's like, yeah, I've smoked weed 7-8 times, this year, but not within the month prior. But he's like, yeah, I've smoked it, and they're like, all right, they still passed him. So you just need to be truthful when it comes to any of the questions they ask you, because they're not going to disqualify you for the little things like that, as long as you're honest. After that, I went and got my hearing checked. They'll put you in a little room, a little soundproof box, and they'll have you put your headphones on, and you have a little clicker, and every time you hear a noise, even if it's the most faint noise, you have to just click your clicker. But that only lasted about 5 minutes. It was an easy test. Next was, they checked our vision. That was a little bit difficult for me when it came to the depth perception, but I ended up doing pretty good. But what they'll do is they have these cards, and they'll show you a card, and it pretty much tests if you have good color vision. And then they will test your depth perception. They'll test how good your eyes can read the lines, like how they've always done. You will do a bunch of different little tests to make sure your eyes are good. Next, we go to, I think this is called the neuro-ortho, something like that. But what they do is they just check your mobility. So everybody strips down to their underwear, and you go and you do a bunch of different little exercises. You do your little duck walks. You have to be able to walk on your knees. You gotta be able to walk on your tiptoes, walk on your heels. As long as you pay attention to what your instructor's telling you, it's gonna be really easy. After that, they'll get your height and your weight, and make sure that you are not overweight, you're not, whatever. There was one kid that was in my group that was like 35 pounds over his max weight, but he ended up getting a waiver for it, so he was fine. After that, if everything clears, you weren't disqualified for anything, then you pass the physical and medical portion of MEPS. After you get everything done, you will go sit in a little waiting room for a while. They'll review all your paperwork. They will go through everything, and if you are cleared, then that's when the fun stuff happens. You will go back downstairs, and you will go to your liaison's office, and you get to start discussing jobs. You get to start filling out more paperwork. But at this point, you're just like, okay, I've made it through MEPS. I have done it. I'm going to be leaving here in the next couple hours. I'm just ready. So your whole morale just boosts. So when you get to go over job paperwork, you have to fill out a little survey. After that, you will go to what they call the operations, which is where they'll just verify all your paperwork, and then you'll get fingerprinted, so they can start your background research, whatever, background checks, with the FBI. After that, if everything clears, you go back to your liaison, sign all your contracts, and then you're done. You go, and they'll assign you a time for your swearing. You'll go, and if you have family there, wait with your family. You can do whatever. My brother actually ended up coming. He's stationed in Georgia, and he came for my swearing, as I didn't know about it, and he surprised me there, so that was fun. So yeah, they called us in for a brief about 10 minutes before the swearing. Pretty much told us, you know, what at ease is, what standing at attention is, how to do your proper, you know, raise your right hand. And then after that, you walk into the room, you go meet your family, and you swear in. You do your oath. They'll talk to you a little bit about keeping in physical, mental shape, and all this stuff. So yeah, that was my experience at MEPS. I hope this helps you guys. Thank you.